Good morning. Our gathering hymn this morning is in the teal hymnal. It's 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Feel free to stand if you are willing and able.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we share the sorry deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence, the sacred space, and the God of our hearts turns within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, and our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Our welcome this morning was written by Laura Horton Ludwig. The wheel of the year has turned again. Once more the Thanksgiving season has arrived. How shall we sing our song of gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks? For this moment, for friends near and far, for our breath, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty, for the tables round which we gather, for the food we enjoy with friends, seasoned with love and memory, for the sun and moon and stars in the sky, for the trees who have seen so much and still stand proud, stretching themselves to the sky, for the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, for endurance, for joy, for hope. For all these things, we give thanks as we worship together. I am Ashley Perkins, co-director of Religious Exploration and worship leader this morning. I'd like to introduce some other people around who are super helping out today. There's Mark. He is our musician this morning. Nancy is back there at the table working our tech this morning. And then our remote tech person who's helping with the Zoom and Facebook Live is Molly, and she's actually in the office today, so you may want to say hi. We're glad you're here. If you're a guest today, and if you are willing and able, we invite you to tell us who you are and where you're from so that we may welcome you. Do we have any guests that would like to be recognized this morning? Okay. Molly, do we have any guests online that want to be recognized?
I do not.
Okay. All right. We also invite you to stay for refreshments following the service. We usually have coffee. There's also tea. And I think there's some little cookies. Cookies. Thanks, Barbara. Barbara brought some cookies. Now for time for church announcements. I direct your attention to our website, www.uuevansville.org. Also, some of our announcements are in the order of service. You can also sign up to have them delivered to your email each week. If you don't get that already and want to, there are little cards out on the table in the lobby, so you can write your information there, and then we'll start sending them to you. All right, are there any other church announcements to be made? You can come up and speak in the microphone.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Susan. We will be celebrating Thanksgiving here Thursday at 2:30. For those of you who have signed up, I'll be touching base with you, confirming you're coming and what you're bringing. And for other folks, if you kind of thought about it, but you weren't really sure, and on Wednesday you decide you'd like to come, or if you have plans and they fall through, please feel free to come at the last minute. Just show up. Don't worry about bringing anything. It's not really about the food anyway. So see those of you who can come then. And best to you all.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm trying to remember what else I'm supposed to talk about. We do have our new members class, which will be happening on the 15th of December, correct? The date is correct? Yes, okay. Following church, it'll run from 12:30 to 3:30, and we'll have something for you to nosh on while you are studying so that you don't starve to death. If anyone is interested in that class, we would really like you to sign up very, very soon. If you talk to Aaron or Barbara, would you raise your hands, please? They're combining the list of people who will be taking the class. Our next Friends Night Out will be on December 13th. We're not sure where we're going yet. But with the, the holidays and so on and so forth, we want to be sure that you know to save that date, because we will be taking names shortly. We'll have in the announcements where we're going by next week. But we wanted you to save that date if you want to join us. For those of you who don't know, Friends Night Out is we get a bunch of people together and go to a restaurant and have dinner. So it's a nice way to have a casual, a casual situation in which you can get to know people better and have some good food. Our next happy hour film will be in December. It'll be the day after Christmas. So you can remember that. Some of you may be out of town, some of you may not, but we thought we'd go ahead and do it anyway for those of you who would like to do so. We are not having one in November because it would be on Thanksgiving and that would be silly. So we're not going to do that. I have one other announcement I'd like to make that is not exactly a church announcement, but it's a sort of a church announcement. So after church last week, I was talking with David and Susan, And we were talking about the fact that John Lennon Night is coming up and that we would like to go. So I reserved a table for 10 people. If you are interested in joining us, that will be on a first-come, first-served basis. Whoever, I had nobody in particular in mind except Susan. David can't join us. So I have 8 seats available, and if you'd like to come, tell me now, and probably, yeah. I didn't mean right now, but okay. It is the 8th. Yeah. At Boca. And speaking of December the 8th, for those of you who don't know, and probably not many of you know, we're going to have a very special treat for you that Sunday at the service. You're going to see the one and only, maybe, but certainly first production of the Not Quite Ready for Church Yet Players. And that will be our service on Sunday the 8th. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please join us.
Thank you, Sharon. I also have an announcement. Celeste and Jennifer actually put this together. It's an Random Acts of Kindness Advent calendar for December, and these are out by the where the hymnals are. So if you want to take one of these, we also have a Random Acts of Kindness bulletin board back by the nursery. You can grab a card out of it and see what it says and then do it and then put it back for somebody else to do it. So we have these options for you to take. Are there any announcements online?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let us transform our welcoming statement into action by taking a few moments to greet one another. Please return to your seats when you hear the chime.
the moon, and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose. We all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze, you can lose your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same, stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like, oh yo, oh yo. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
That was a special request I made for Mark, and he delivered, so thank you. I forgot to make an announcement about game night. Our family game night is coming up on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. If you would like to come, we do provide games and snacks and drinks, but you can bring your favorites, so it's 6 to 9 on Friday, this coming up Friday. So Black Friday game night. All right. Can I please have a volunteer to light our chalice this morning? Thank you. All right. So there are hand motions with this, if you're willing and able to do them. This is what we do in our religious exploration program with the youth. So please follow along if you want. We kindle this flame to honor the heart of a Unitarian Universalist, someone who shows strength, someone who lends a helping hand, and someone who seeks adventure. Now we will have our offering. Can I have 2 volunteers to pass the plate? This is called Individually and Together by Heather Christensen. Our fellowship is a vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations like ours. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. Thank you for your gifts. Now is our time for our story for all ages. I'm going to stand up here and read it. I might show a few pictures, but after the service, I'll leave it out in the back if anybody wants to take a better look. This is called Kipanamuk, Wiachaman's Thanksgiving Story. It was actually written and designed by 4 indigenous people. So I'm going to just let you know about the authors, because I think that's important, where our things come from and to honor them. Danielle Greendeer is a citizen of the Mashpee Wampanoag Nation and works in Indigenous arts, cultural perpetuation, and food sovereignty. She lives in Mashpee, Massachusetts. Anthony Perry is a Chickasaw citizen and author of Chula the Fox, an award-winning middle-grade historical fiction book. He lives in London, England. Alexis Button is Yupik and Unangan, authored the award-winning nonfiction book, So How Long Have You Been Native? Life as an Alaska Native Tour Guide. She lives in Monterey, California. All 3 authors are parents who warmly invite readers of this to be part of shifting the Thanksgiving narrative to honor Indigenous perspectives. Gary Meaches Sr., Anishinaabe, was born on the Long Plains Reserve in southern Manitoba, Canada. His style is reminiscent of the Plains style of art and evokes the Eastern Woodlands tradition. He lives in Connecticut, and this is his first picture book. Kind of give a little bit of that. Kipanamuk. So if I mispronounce any of these words and you happen to know the real pronunciation, please let me know after service so I get it right. I love your garden this time of year, said Maple. Me too. What shall we pick for lunch? Newcomus asked. How about crab apples? Maple suggested. No, choke cherries, Quill shouted. Those are both good medicine, Newcomus said. How about some wiachaman as well? Yes, Maple replied. She is such a good big sister to beans and squash. The 3 sisters, they grow together, Quill added. You're right, they feed people all over Turtle Island, Newcomus said. And they have many stories to tell. Can you tell us a story? Quill asked. How about the time Wiachaman asked our Wampanoag ancestors to help the pilgrims? Newcomus replied. The first Thanksgiving? Maple asked. Some people call it that, Newcomus said. We call it Kipanamuk, the time of harvest. Here's what really happened. One frosty fall morning a long time ago, a large boat with white sails approached the shore. Seagulls circled above the boat, squawking, New people are coming! New people are coming! Hearing the news, Wiachaman stretched her weary ears toward the sky. Who are these new people, she asked. 2 winters had passed since many of the first peoples who cared for Wiachaman passed on to the spirit world. Those who were not taken by sickness found new homes to ease their heavy hearts and rebuild their lives. Wiachaman feared this winter would be her last and called upon Fox for help. Fox looked up at Wiachaman. Should we trust these newcomers, he asked. Stay close and watch what they do, Wiachaman told Fox. Fall turned to winter. Wiachaman and the other plants fell asleep. Fox watched the newcomers come ashore. He watched as they made their way into the forest. He watched them enter an abandoned wetu. He watched them take a cooking pot and a basket of Wiachaman's seeds. Don't take us away, the seeds cried. We are waiting for the first peoples to come back in the spring to prepare our beds. We must grow first. But the newcomers could not hear the seeds. Their ears did not know the voices of the land. Fox watched the newcomers build homes on top of an empty village. He watched as they searched for food, but they could never find enough to eat. Many of the newcomers lost mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters during the long, cold winter. The first peoples watched as well. News traveled fast among nearby tribes that newcomers had arrived. Nobody was sure what to make of them. For many years, others had traveled across the sea to hunt, fish, and trade. Some may have been friendly and some were definitely not. These new people seemed different. They were here to stay. Winter turned into spring, the sun warmed the earth, the newcomers continued their search for food. Weachaman awoke from her long slumber and thanked the Creator for another season. She and her sisters, Beans and Squash, pushed through the ground and reached toward the sky. Fox returned to share what he had seen. The newcomers are hungry, Fox told the three sisters. They took Weachaman's seeds, but they don't know how to help her grow. Other animals came to hear what Fox had to say. We should help, Weachaman said. I agree, Beans said. Our home is their home now. I think we should too, said Squash. Please help us grow. We must help, Deer said. We agreed to feed the people. In return, they care for the home we share. I wouldn't, said Fox. The newcomers don't know our world. Sometimes new people seem scary, Rabbit said. The Creator tells us to help the living things. This is how the world works. Yes, Duck agreed. It's settled, said Weachaman. We will send the first peoples to help the newcomers. Over the next few nights, Weachaman sent dreams to the first peoples with a message. Bring me and my sisters to the newcomers. They are hungry and need help. The first peoples listened. Their leader, Usamequan, visited the newcomers. He could see that they wanted peace. Usamequan introduced the newcomers to Tisquantum. Spring turned into summer. Tisquantum It was Weachaman, beings of the land, sea, and sky, who made the newcomers' first harvest possible? That's right, Newcomus said. This is why we pray before we eat. Well, what did the newcomers and our ancestors eat? Newcomus Quill asked. Many things. Succotash, duck, rabbit, deer, lobster, clams, fish, pumpkins, cranberries, boiled bread, and nasam, Newcomus said. All this talk about food is making me hungry, Maple said. Let's go make some lunch then, Newcomus laughed. And we'll enjoy every bite, said Quill. The end. Thanksgiving time is here, and while many of us might look forward to gathering with our friends and families to enjoy yummy meals, it is important that we acknowledge the need to be truthful about the story on which this holiday is built. This month, in our Youth Religious Exploration program, we have been using the theme of repair. Repair as in using our given resources and tools to help heal ourselves, each other, and potentially the world. This month has given us a chance to explore and celebrate what I see as the point of faith and religious education to be, helping each other live the best versions of ourselves. The theme of repair and the metaphor of tools of repair suggests the idea of construction, especially the idea that we human beings are constantly under construction, growing more and more into the best versions of ourselves. When it comes to repair, I will place a pebble in the bowl for experiences too dear to share. We will now have a moment of silent meditation, prayer, or contemplation, then sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, in the Gray Hymnal. One of the ways we can use truth-telling as a tool of repair is to find false stories and correct them, just like many people are now doing regarding the false Thanksgiving story. To begin today's message, I'm going to tell you some truths about the first Thanksgiving and about the first peoples and separatists during that time. I want to show special reference and reverence to the indigenous people, so I'm going to mostly be talking about them. The Mashpee Wampanoag people live in the Cape Cod area of Massachusetts and call themselves the people of the first light. There were 69 Wampanoag tribes living in southeastern Massachusetts at the time the newcomers arrived. These settlers included religious separatists, later called pilgrims, and traders who were the first to colonize the Wampanoag homeland. Colonization is when a group of people take land by force from another group to permanently live there and control resources. Colonization has had a devastating effect on all First Peoples. Today, the state of Massachusetts is home to only 2 federally recognized tribes, the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe and the Wampanoag tribe of Gayhead or Akina. Storytelling is very important to the Wampanoag people. Elders tell stories to pass on knowledge about culture, tribal history, and traditions, such as how to plant the 3 sisters. We only know the English settlers' version of the first Thanksgiving from their written records. Sadly, the Wampanoag side of the story was lost after a majority of tribal members died from warfare and disease introduced by these newcomers. But fortunately, many Wampanoag stories have survived and are still told today. In addition to a fall harvest feast that celebrates corn, or Wiachaman, the Wampanoag people come together for many harvest feasts throughout the year, including Strawberry Thanksgiving, Herring Day, and Quahog Day. Many New England tribes think of the Thanksgiving holiday as a day of mourning because the settlers brought disease and warfare that continue to take the lives of many indigenous people today. Each year, they come together at Plymouth Rock in Massachusetts to remember their ancestors who have passed on to the spirit world. Even today, the Wampanoag people and many other First Peoples fight for the rights of sovereign nations to practice their traditions, make their own laws, and live on their homelands. For the Wampanoag people, guardian spirits take the form of animals and plants, like Wiachaman, to watch over human beings. The Wampanoag people honor guardian spirits as well as loved ones who have left this world. Before special meals, they make a plate of food for the spirits to eat, and they place it outside. You can try making a spirit plate at your next gathering in gratitude for plants, animals, and ancestors. You take a pinch of each food served at the meal and put it on the plate in a special place outside. When you make a spirit plate, think about people you love who have passed on. You can give thanks to plants and animals and make good wishes for others. Something to think about. In this time of Thanksgiving or time of mourning, we can take this opportunity to grow, to repair. When I think about repair, I think about us and how we are called to respond to issues of lying, honesty, and justice within our beloved community. You may have been invited to attend our gatherings or Thanksgiving this week. Well, and I will now offer an invitation to you, maybe a call of faith, adapted from a talk given by Dr. Takia Nur Amin. In every moment, life is giving us an invitation. I really believe that. I really believe that in every moment, life is giving us an invitation to do the things that are the most loving and life-affirming, and that doing the loving and life-affirming thing is always the answer when you don't know what to do, or if you're feeling unsure. There's always a moment of invitation to rethink or reevaluate. We're being invited into this cosmic dance of renewal and joy and justice. But you have to make the justice. It doesn't just show up without our participation or our effort. Things don't get better just by us waiting for them to happen. We all have to engage in the better making from wherever we are, and each moment presents an invitation for us to do that. I don't want us to forget that, even if, like me, you are tired or feeling frustrated or feeling unsure. The invitation to participate in a manner that is about living our values, living love and justice, is still there, no matter what else is going on. I invite you to ask yourself, what is the most loving, life-affirming thing that I can do in this moment for myself or for other people? Sometimes it's get some rest. Sometimes it's apologize for something you've done. Sometimes it's reconsider how you're using your money or other resources in the broader world. If we're talking about racial justice, love is about acknowledging that there have been wrongs, that there has been harm perpetrated, and that whether you personally feel like you participated in it or not, you are likely benefiting from the inequitable results of the harm. Even if you are a person who wants to say, well, I didn't participate in making things that way. If you are benefiting from the ill-gotten gains, then you have some responsibility to make things right, especially if you then turn around and say that you believe in justice and equity. You are not let off the hook, no matter what. When we have broader conversations about reparations, or what it looks like to repair, particularly the harms that have been done to Indigenous communities, Black communities, or other communities of color, I believe that love means thinking about the resources that enable life. So what does reparation look like at the intersection of communities of color and healthcare, or communities of color and education? What does it look like to have those kinds of conversations, beyond just conversations about money and land that is owed, but also about accessing resources that have been inequitably distributed for more than a century? All of us should have a hand in those conversations, and all of us have some responsibility to bring about justice in those contexts. Plainly, if you're not going to do that work, if you're not going to be committed to thinking about that, how you can serve in that work, it is contrary to what it means to be here. Because ours is a faith that calls us to do things. We are a beloved community of deeds, not creeds. Being here in part means maybe you don't pray the way I pray. Maybe you don't pray at all. But how do we live together in equitable community despite what I might think about a higher power, or what you might think about a higher power? This is a faith that causes us to commit to the work of making justice. It calls us to think about what it means, not to believe the same, but to live together in beloved community despite our own perspectives and beliefs about spirituality or the afterlife. That is part of the call of what it is to be Unitarian Universalist, to figure out how we live together in loving, equitable, just relationship with each other. I believe that the proof is in the extent to which we do that. The proof is not in some confession that we make. The proof of our faith is not in some words that we say, the essence of our endeavor. The proof of what we believe is in how we do the work of bringing about love, justice, and community. As Unitarian Universalists, I think we've given up perhaps too quickly on notions of salvation. If we think about the notion of being saved, I don't know that it's actually possible to have personal salvation beyond the community. There is no way for you to have salvation and some kind of perfect, flourishing life outcome while everything around you is suffering and burning, because we're all connected. Our repair is intimately tied up in each other's ability to see other people as worthwhile, seeing human beings as valuable, possessing dignity. Life is having value and possessing dignity. That's not the same as liking me. That is not, I need you to like me. This is not, I need us to be best friends so that we can go bowling together. Although if you want to invite me bowling, I'll probably go. This is understand that I have as much of a right to human thriving and flourishing as anybody else, and that I have as much to offer as anyone else, and so do you. Yes, you, yes, you, yes, you, all of you. How do we create a context where all of that is possible? Where all the human driving in life is possible? It's going to take sacrifice and time and deep listening and repair and nuance. But that's what being a Unitarian Universalist requires, Different faith traditions ask for different things. This is what Unitarian Universalism asks of us. Ours is not a faith of anything goes. I've heard people say I'm a UU because I can believe whatever I want. That's actually the farthest thing from the truth. It's time to lean into whether or not we really believe it, or are we just saying it to give ourselves the illusion of faith community so we can feel like we have some kind of faith tradition? Do we really believe in the principles and values of our faith enough to enact them in the larger world in a manner that is bold and clear and unequivocal, in a manner that repairs the hurt caused to us and that we have caused? What tools can we use to repair issues of justice for those who don't have a say and for those who suffer loss, meanness, and dishonesty? Where can we show gratitude in our lives and beloved community right now? What is it we are called to do in response to centering truth amongst the false stories? How can we hold ourselves and others accountable within our beloved community? People need to know what our commitments are, and if we're going to say that we are committed to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, we have to actually do that. It's not just about saying the thing, we have to do the thing. Frankly, I'd feel better if we did less saying and more doing. I need us to have the collected maturity now to do what it is our faith asks of us. Thank you for listening and for being blessings in my life. Now we'll have time for congregational response. If anyone would like to come up to the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. That was quite touching presentation. And one of the things that I do things around here, and one of the things that I thought it was right to do in the last couple of weeks is to take the 7 principles that our faith lives by and hang them on the wall instead of having them stuck up on a table. So I did that and I read them again, and they have come to mean something deep to me because it's how this organization, this church, encourages me to live, and it makes sense to me. So I came down, hung things, so now we can all actually go to it and see it and read it and see what you think. But it was my pleasure to be able to do it.
I'm no name tag Ben. Actually, it's out there and I was late, so I apologize. A couple things came to mind. Thank you. It was a very nice talk. I appreciated it. 2 things came to mind. One is that, we talk about I'm trying to grasp at a word here, the way that we interact with each other. And those of you that know me, I would hope that you would think that in the interactions that I have with my fellow human beings, I attempt to elevate. That's just my way of, some people may think that I'm flirting. What I think I'm trying to do is to make people feel good about themselves and to have an enjoyable day and an enjoyable life. That's one thing that came to mind. And I think that fits very boldly into that set of principles. The other thing is that we talk about equality, and when you were talking, Ashley, it came to mind. I had an interaction with my teenage son, and Martin was he was a junior getting ready to go to his senior year, and he came into I was working in Center City, Philadelphia. I'd been up all night running around with crazy stuff, and he came in and he proceeded to tell me that his friends were going to go to Penn State, so he needed the money to go to Penn State. I said, "Oh, that's great. You're going to Penn State. Great. That's awesome." He said, yeah. It only takes $10,000 a year or whatever it is, Dad. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure that out. So in this conversation, I said, well, I've got a buddy that works on a freighter. He takes off, just at the end of the school year, He comes back right before the school year starts again. He'll spend the summer running around the Atlantic on a freighter. I can get you on there. You'll have enough money to go to your next, your first year of school. I'm not going to do that. I said, why would you not want to do that? Oh, no, I want you to pay for it. I said, no. Doesn't work that way, buddy. Here's the way it works. I, as your father, in my opinion, I need to try to figure out a way to help you pave your way through life. It's not for me to run your little butt around in a wheelbarrow. It's for me to get to lay down the conditions whereby you can prosper. Didn't go well, but that's the way I feel about life. And people think that, oh, if you've made a little money, then you should give, 9/10 of your money away because you're capable of making money. No. In my opinion, it is that if I can figure out a way to make money, and I'm more than willing to share it with anybody else, that's my way of giving. It's not the physical exchange of money. So just sorry about the soapbox.
In the past, I've talked about story and how important story is. And I don't mean, novels or television programs. I mean the way our brain looks at story. Our brain creates stories to give us a structure to live by. If we didn't have that, we couldn't function. Everything has a story. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I have a really dear friend. We've been friends for, 30 years. She voted totally opposite from what I did a couple weeks ago. And we talk about it, and she says, well, this is the truth. And I say, no, this is the truth. Because we both have our own stories of what the world is, based on our life experiences and whatever else has happened. And even history that we think of as history is a story. It's written by the victors. There are no women hardly at all in history. Did we exist? Was it all men? It's the people who create the stories, and those who believe the stories create the reality that we live in. Like Ashley talked about the real Thanksgiving. When we were growing up, we had, the happy pilgrims and the happy Indians, and everything was hunky-dory, totally ignoring the fact that the white colonists pretty well decimated the indigenous populations. It's true of everything. It's true of politics. It's true of what we believe about our own lives. It's true about churches and religion and the economy and ideologies. So, there's been books written on this, and I've read a couple, and it's pretty interesting stuff. But just keep in mind that what we all believe is rooted in story, the way our brain creates story. The stories change our brain physically, so we keep reacting in the same way, and that's the same way for other people. That's true of everybody. So I don't know if this is really making any sense, but I think, for me anyway, if I think of it that way, it helps me make sense of people that I care about who live like in an alternate reality for me. I can understand them more if I think of it that way. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm new here, so just going to give my quick thoughts about, learning about the truth and learning about equality. As someone who grew up in South Central LA and in an impoverished area growing up, when I was a kid, we didn't really have the ability we didn't know, how much we were hurting ourselves and each other. And now that I'm older and I have the privilege now that I get to learn about myself through, mental health and reading, and even being coming to see this community and seeing these different perspectives. I think it's important to continue learning and carrying that forward and sharing that with others you care about, because recently I've been able to, practice mindfulness, practice looking for the truth, critical thinking with, I guess, general sources of information. Sharing that with my family has changed my family's life, my life. And thank you, Ashley, for talking about, these difficult things that often aren't at the forefront of our thoughts because we didn't grow up with it. So that mental flexibility, I think, is very important and has helped me a lot. And that's it.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for a really good speech. See, you did fine. Yeah, I'm Mark. And when I was a junior in high school, we had a choice of books to read, and I picked Wounded Knee, and that changed my whole perspective on the plight of the Native American, now the First Peoples. And I just read just the other day that when the colonists, whatever you want to call them, the invaders showed up on the coast, there were 165 million indigenous people in the United States. As of 2024, there's only 7 million left. So that's genocide. We pretty much did our best to wipe out that culture, and that's a real shame because there's so many good things that they did, like the story that you read. So yeah, it was a big change in my life, and I still really feel that we need to tell that story and make sure people understand what really happened in that first Thanksgiving. So thanks for doing that.
I'm Nancy, and I'm a librarian, so I'm here with your weekly book suggestions. I'm in a book group that is trying to educate ourselves about issues of race and issues of inequity in the world. And the last two books we've discussed, both I think have bearing on this. And I have copies that I'm going to donate to the library, but I forgot to bring them today. But after this week, they'll be available in our library. One is called On Repentance and Repair, Making Amends in an Unapologetic World. It's by Rabbi Danya Rutenberg. And another is a memoir called A Fire at the Center, Solidarity, Whiteness, and Becoming a Water Protector. That one's written by Karen von Fossen, who during the DAPL and protests was the UU minister in Bismarck, North Dakota, and they were, I think, the only congregation in that area that stood up and backed the water protectors. She did a really good job of helping me understand some of what is meant by the colonialism and the mindset, and also how that interaction with capitalism has created a lot of the issues. So you might find those helpful. The two things that I took from her book that just really resonated strongly was she said you need to make ally a verb, not a noun. And that for the most part, as white people, we're not here to fix everything for the people who've been hurt. We're here to share with other white people what has happened and what we, that we bear some of this responsibility for helping.
Molly, do we have anyone online?
No.
Thank you. Those were all very nice comments. I love listening to all of you respond to the topic because it gives me different perspectives as well. So thank you. Okay. All right, now we'll have our closing hymn. It is also in the teal hymnal. It's 1010, 1010, We Give Thanks.
We give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here, those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We're gathered here, those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We will extinguish our chalice while reading the words in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I am happy Nancy mentioned those book recommendations because actually the closing words are from On Repentance and Repair, Making Amends in an Unapologetic World by Danya Ruttenberg. This was actually the UUA's common read for 2023-2024. It offers a glimpse into one of our faith, the rabbi comments about making amends in a framework offered by the 12th century Jewish physician and scholar how do you pronounce it? Maimonides? Maimonides? Oh, I like that. Okay, so here are what she has to say. We are each, in 1,000 different ways, both harm doer and victim. Sometimes we are hurt, sometimes we hurt others, whether intentionally or not. The path of repentance is one that can help us not only to repair what we have broken to the fullest extent possible, but to grow in the process of doing so. The rabbi goes on to say, the work of repentance demands curiosity, care, and a willingness to face hard things with bravery and honesty. While we can't undo the past, we can address the present with integrity and endeavor to create a future that is much more whole than anything we can imagine from here. Go in peace, and may your living bless the world. Amen and blessed be.